everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Hannah and I'm getting ready to do my Disney college program this year, spring of 2022. I cannot wait. I leave on February 21st to move to Orlando, and I'm just so excited for the opportunity to get to work for the company again. And again is right, because I am a DCP alumni, and as you may have noticed from the title of this video, today I'm going to be talking about my first role with the company as a quick service food and beverage cast member. I just thought it would be a good idea to come on here and talk about quick service food and beverage, because there's not a lot of exposure on YouTube to quick service. I mean, there's tons of attractions and children's activities and character attendant and all that good stuff, but not a whole lot about quick service and not a whole lot about the role that I did. So I just thought it would be really cool and fun to come on here and reminisce those memories with y'all and just talk through quick service, the good, the bad, the ugly, the great, the spectacular, all the above. We're gonna jump into it today. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. Okay, so first things first, a little backstory. I did my first program in spring of 2020, and yes, like I said, I was a quick service food and beverage cast member. So I found out that I was gonna be quick service food and beverage on my offer letter that I got, I think on like October 1st of 2019, I think. Anyways, I got my offer letter, and used to, you would get your role on your offer letter, and that could help you like make your decision on, do you want to do the program, do I not want to do it, is the timing not right, is it perfect timing, whatever. So I knew going into it that I was going to be quick service food and beverage, which I was 100% expecting, because that's all we talked about in my phone interview pretty much. At the time I was like in leadership at a cafe, so I pretty much knew that that's what I was going to get. But on my offer letter, I was offered quick service food and beverage, and I knew my rate or whatever, so I was like, yes, I want to do it, this will be so much fun, great, perfect. So I accepted my offer, and I could tell everyone that I was going to be doing food in a quick service restaurant. I was super excited. I didn't know if I was going to be in the parks or resort or whatever. So then fast forward to a week before my arrival, which was January 13th of 2020, which is 2 years ago to date that I'm filming this video, which is crazy. But anyways, so around like January 6th or 7th or something like that, I got my itinerary. And on my itinerary, it gave, you know, your job location, your check-in time for your apartment, and your onboarding or your casting appointment, and your traditions and all that good stuff. So on my itinerary, I saw that I was gonna be working in Magic Kingdom at Pinocchio's Village House, and I lost it. I love Pinocchio's. Their food was always so good, and it's right in the heart of Fantasyland, which I love Fantasyland, and it was just a dream to work in Magic Kingdom, because I knew that I was gonna get to like go in the Utilidor and like learn all about that, and that kind of stuff just super interesting to me. So I was super excited to work in Magic Kingdom, and I told everyone, I was like, I get to work in Magic Kingdom, ah! And everybody was super happy for me, super excited. So we fast forward to January 13th. I move in, I check in, I meet my roommates, they're great, spectacular. But yeah, so everything's great, perfect, we're having fun. You know, I'm preparing to like, for my training and for my orientation and for my traditions, and everything's just gonna be so fun and great. And then like 2 days after I move in, I get my training schedule, and my training schedule looks like this. And so I'm like, okay, great, my training schedule. So I'm looking at my training schedule, and I knew that a picture of my costume would be on my training schedule. So I zoom in, and then I see this. And I was like, hold the phone. This is not the Pinocchio's costume that I have been seeing on Google. So then it hits me like a bus that I'm going to be working in back of house at Pinocchio's, and a knife just went through my heart. I was like, you're kidding me! Ah! I moved all the way down here to Orlando to work in the kitchen, and that's a joke between us, because I just kept talking about the dang kitchen over and over again. But It's safe to say I was perturbed that I was gonna be working in the kitchen, but I was like, hey, I'm here now. I've gotta live with it. I've gotta make the best of my situation. Like, there's nothing I can do. Maybe I can cross-train, like at a certain point, they'll let me cross-train. So that happened. So now that the backstory is kind of out of the way, now you know that I was back of house at Pinocchio's Village House in Magic Kingdom on my first program, and I have not seen a single video talking about the real truths about back of house. So that's what I'm here to do today, and I hope y'all enjoy it. If you don't, I'm sorry, it is what it is. Okay, so of course pre-COVID is a little bit different than it is now, but pre-COVID I was already aware that I was gonna be working in a quick service restaurant, whereas now it seems like Disney is giving out two different things on the onboarding. So the onboarding is like the set of paperwork, like all your new hire paperwork basically, that you do like a month or so in advance. And they have to put on there like a tentative role, so that way they can just have like a filler spot for your paperwork. So it seems like Disney's giving out two different roles for onboarding. One of them says like Walt Disney World CP QSR H/H or whatever, which most roles have that H/H, so it doesn't mean anything. But, and then the other one is like Walt Disney World CP Food and Bev H/H. That's so hard to say. H/H. Anyways, so it seems like they're giving out those two different roles, and I'll put like pictures of them so you know like what I'm talking about. But it seems like they're giving out those two different roles, and my first thought was, how, like, what happened to the seater role? Like, because there used to be a role that was a seater that was basically like a host in any like sit down restaurant, so like Cinderella's Royal Table or like places like that. So I was really intrigued by that, and I was like, okay, I'm very interested to see what the difference is for January 10th arrivals. So I like scoured the Facebook pages, and people were saying that the H/H meant that they were gonna be a host, and I was like, I don't think that's what that means. A lot of the roles have that little acronym behind the role, so I don't think that's what that means, but I'm not gonna get into it with anybody on Facebook. I'm just gonna let them figure it out. So I actually put a rant on my Instagram story about it, basically just saying like, I really hope no one's getting their hopes up that they're gonna be a seater, because that's not what that is necessarily stating. Like, it's just saying that you're gonna be in food and bev or quick service somewhere. But it turns out I was wrong. Okay guys, I was saying that I was wrong about the food and bev role on the onboarding for the seater, not about the H/H being the seater, because that does not mean that you're a host. The food and bev role seems to be the seaters. Okay, carry on. And it seems like the food and bev little acronym is people that are more in sit-down restaurants, because it seems like most people's itineraries had them in some sort of location that was like Ohana's in Polynesian or like Cinderella's Royal Table, and it would tell them their assignment, and then it would say like non-tipped afterwards. So that was like an indication that they are gonna be a seater or some type of host or some type of person leading you to a table. It's not gonna be quick service. So not Casey's Corner, not Pinocchio's, not Cosmic Rays, not ABC Commissary, not places like that. So after doing a little bit of my own research on that and talking to some of my January 10th arrival friends and seeing their itineraries versus their onboarding roles, it seems like the food and bev role is going to be more of a seater type position, and if you get something that says QSR, that's going to be more of something like I did like in Pinocchio's or Casey's Corner or something like that. Now there's also something else that one of my friends that's arriving in a couple weeks got, and she got like specialty beverage, food and bev, something like that, and I think that that's gonna be something in Starbucks, but of course I don't know, because I've never gotten that role and I've never worked the job, so I have no idea. But that's just like the speculation. And again, I have no idea. This is not confirmed. This is just what I speculate. And I just want to also say, I know I said it at the beginning, but all of these things that I say is strictly my opinion. I do not speak on behalf of anyone or the company, or I'm not some public spokesperson. This is all my opinion that I wanted to put out there. Okay, so moving on from the roles that you could potentially get in your onboarding. Again, they are tentative roles, they are filler roles, they could change. A lot of people's haven't, but it always could. But just keep an eye out that if you get something that's QSR or food and bev or specialty beverage or something like that, you will be working with food. And I will just say it actually turned out to be really fun. I know the beginning of this video was kind of rough whenever I found out I was going to be in the kitchen, but it actually turned out to be really fun. But I'm jumping the gun just a little bit, so let me rewind to training. So I got my training schedule but even before my traditions. So after you get through traditions and everything, you have maybe like a day or two of like classroom training, which on my program, it was at Disney University. We had like a welcome to operations class that everybody had to do, and then there was like a food and beverage specialty course that we had to go through. But it was basically just like 5 or 6 hours of just like classroom, sitting in the classroom. I think we had to get up and do an activity like every now and then, but mainly it was just us watching something on a screen and being vocal and participating. But after you did those 2 classes, you go, if you're working in the parks, you go to like a park specific orientation. And since I worked in Magic Kingdom, that was the day that I got a tour of the Utilidor, and we got to ride a ride in the park, and it was just really fun. That was probably my favorite day. It was long. It was from like 7:30 to 3:30 or something like that, but that's the day that they took us into costuming, and we got to get our costumes and all that good stuff. So that helped ease the stress a little bit, and we knew exactly where to go for when training started and all that good stuff. So I think I had like 3 days of training and then an assessment day. So on the 3 days of training, I think I had 1 shift where I was an opener. So I came in at like 10 o'clock or something like that and opened. And then my other 2 training days were closing shifts, because most CPs close the parks or close the resorts or whatever. So my other 2 shifts were closing shifts. And then on my assessment day, I think it was just like a middle of the day thing, because pretty much you do your assessment and they tell you if you pass or fail, and then you get to go home pretty much. So during your assessment, there's pretty much a leader or coordinator like following you around, like watching you do the different tasks and making sure that you know what you're doing. And if you mess up in some way, they'll like pull you aside and be like, what did you do wrong? What could you have done better? Like, you know, is this going to affect guest turnaround? Like whatever. So then you do your assessment, and they basically kind of have like a little Mod Podge like meeting of everyone, and it's like, okay, Hannah completed her training, let's all, yay. So everybody cheers for you, and then you can take off your Earning My Ears tab of your name tag and throw it away or keep it or do whatever. I kept it, and mine's pinned up on my visor right now. But it's just a fun moment where all your cast member friends like celebrate you, and you're usually with other people too. Like, you don't train alone, so there's usually other people that are like going through the same thing, so you can all cheer together, yay, 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 happy. So after you complete your assessment, you are on your own. You are done earning your ears. They send you off and are like, okay, great, your next shift, you are ready to go, rock and roll. You should know everything that you're supposed to do, which is not always the case, but theoretically, you're supposed to know everything you're supposed to do. Okay, so when you start your shift, when you clock in, you get these little tickets, these little receipts printed out. I'm gonna put a picture of it up right here so you guys can see it a little bit closer. And I know this one's kind of hard to see because it's old and just has been sitting and rotting away. But this one was on February 1st of 2020, and it looks like this was a bump out for me to go on my break. So you can see the first assignment was for someone to take over Pizza Maker 2. And then that bumped out someone else who was at left anchor. And then I must have been at left anchor because person number 2 came and gave me this receipt, and it was for me to go on my break. So it looks like I had a 30-minute break that day because I must have been working a 4 or 5 hour, 6 hour shift. So you always get these pieces of paper that tell you your rotation or where you're supposed to go when you clock in, or who's coming to take over your spot, or sometimes your name's like in the middle of the list, and so like someone else is clocking in to come take your spot and you're going to take someone else's spot. And so it's just a big bump rotation. Like everybody just bumps each other out of different spots because you're not supposed to work in one spot for more than like 45 minutes, I think. Like the coordinators do their best to like break it up so that way I'm not doing fryers for 3 hours, which sometimes I ended up doing that anyways, and that's just the reality of it because I was good at it. But anyways, so yeah, you'll get those tickets when you clock in, or someone else will come bump you out and give you the ticket, and then you take the ticket to someone else. But Pinocchio's is just such a big restaurant, so there were lots of different stations, and there were there were like 2 sides to the kitchen. I don't know if y'all have ever been in Pinocchio's, but when you walk in, well, before you had to mobile order everything, when you walked in, there were like 8 registers. So like 4 of them were for this side of the kitchen and 4 of them for this side. So on this side of the kitchen, there are 5 fryers that we use to do like chicken nuggets, french fries, chicken patties, all that good stuff. There were 5 fryers on this side. Well, when it was like in the peak of lunch, there were 5 other fryers on the other side. So there were 10 hot fryers in that kitchen. So it was hot, and we were making pasta, we were making pizzas, we were deep frying chicken and fries, we were making salads, we were prepping peanut butter and jellies and all this stuff. So there was and buns and all this stuff. There was so much going on, and it was so hot in the kitchen. It was just a lot, but there are so many rotations, so you're not gonna be stuck doing one thing for too long because there's so many different rotations. And to talk on those rotations, there are so many different stations. I watched a video on YouTube of a girl talking about how she worked in Cosmic Rays, and I'll link it in the description below so y'all can go watch that one. She was front of house. She was talking about some of the positions that were in the kitchen at Cosmic Rays, and some of them were the same and a lot of them were different because like we didn't have burgers in Pinocchio's, but Cosmic Rays does. So they had a station called like Boiler or something for the hamburger patties. But like we sold chicken parm sandwiches and they sold burgers. So we both had a bun station where you just put hamburger buns in a toaster and then put them on a tray. Like super easy. But we also had pasta because we had like chicken parm pasta, and we had chicken parm sandwiches, and we had a margarita pizza, we had a pepperoni pizza, we had a cheese pizza, we had chicken nuggets, we had a regular chicken sandwich, we had antipasto salad, like we had tomato basil soup, we had breadsticks. I think that's pretty much everything, and besides like desserts and small things that were just easy to prep. But there were lots of things, and so that entails lots of different stations. So I'm gonna go through all the stations like quickly if I can remember them, most of them. But there was a lot. So
there was prep, which like prepared all of the like ingredients for the salad. There was pasta maker. No, was it called pasta maker? Maybe it was just called pasta. And that's just where you literally took the dry pasta and poured it into like the pasta maker. It was pasta maker. Yeah, pasta maker. And you put it into the pasta maker, and then when it beat, you poured it out and dumped it in the tray. So that was pretty much all that you did there. And then there was pizza maker, which like got the dough and the sauce and the cheese and the pepperoni and all the ingredients for a pizza and put it in a tray. And then there was oven, which put the I think it was called oven, put the pizzas in the oven, and then there was Catcher who took them out, and then there was Slicer who sliced the pizza, and then there was Buns who did the buns, and then there was Sauce who like prepped the sauce because you had to like boil the bags like and time it just right so where they didn't run out of sauce on the line. And then you had Fryers, which just deep fried all the food. And then there was Salad who just like basically got the lettuce from this thing above and put it into a bowl and got all the ingredients and mixed it up and sauced it up and dipped it out and put it on the line for people to grab. And then there was the stations on the line, which were Anchor, Middle, I don't remember. It was Anchor who like got the tickets off the print and put them on the line, like put them up in the thing, and then they got the tray and put out all the boats. So like all the brown things that the food sat in, there were like different ways you could arrange the boats to let the line know that it was a certain thing coming down the line, if that makes sense. So like if it was chicken nuggets and fries, you just put a big boat in the middle, but if it was like a sandwich, you would flip it upside down so that way they knew it was a sandwich. And like if it was chicken nuggets only, no fries, you would like fold the ends and put it upside down so that way they knew it was whatever, and send it down the line. That was my favorite spot. It was very, very fast paced, and you had to really know what you were doing and like stay on top of it, but that was my favorite spot. So I was there a lot too. So there was Anchor, and then Middle, who like scooped out who got the sandwich and put the sauce on it and scooped out the pasta and put the sauce on it and then sent it down. And then the last one might have been like fries or something, because I think all they did was put the fries in the boats. And then there was Window, who checked the ticket and got the breadsticks or the soup or anything like that if it was needed. Oh, breadsticks was another station, basically just putting breadsticks in and buttering them up and sending them on their way.
But gosh, I know that was a lot, but I think that there was like 12 different stations or something like that that you were constantly rotating through, and that's just Pinocchio's. I'm sure one that's pretty standard across all the restaurants is like any position on the line. Fryers is always gonna be the same because everybody has chicken nuggets and french fries, and any type of like prep station is gonna be the same, like having to go ahead and get out the pre-cut veggies and fruits and lining them all up on the trays and all that good stuff. That's a little bit of insight into what my daily routine was with the different stations. Was always switching around from Anchor to Fryer to prep, pretty much. Those were like my go-tos because I was just good at them, and they were more fast paced, and especially with the fryers, nobody wanted to do them and everybody complained about it, but I just did my best to like not complain and just work with excellence, so that way my coordinators and leaders would know that I was like dependable and a teammate and someone that they could count on. And it actually turned out to be like in my favor because I got a lot of free points for food for that. Like anytime somebody wanted to like switch off fryers, I would just do it because I knew I would be there for like an hour or so, but I knew I was gonna get like conscious points for being like a teammate or whatever, so like I got free food from that, so that was fun. And I also got offered to cross train before anyone else because basically one of my coordinators, who's still my friend now, Caitlin, she just saw like the potential in me and was like, pretty much after like a month and a half, was like, would you want to cross train? And I was actually just about to start before we got sent home for COVID, so I was pretty bummed about that, but you know, it is what it is. Now that you've got a little bit of insight of what it's like to be in the kitchen and the different positions that are in the kitchen, let's talk about the good and the bad of the kitchen. It was stressful at times because it's just a bunch of college kids and we're just like laughing and having fun, but also like we have guests we have to serve, so like we gotta stay on top of it. But it turned out to be really, really fun. I mean, there were probably like 18 girls and one boy. That poor Jarrett, he's a sweetheart. He's not watching this, but he's a sweetheart. So it turned out to be really, really fun, and I'm really thankful for that experience. But let's just talk about some pros and some cons real quick. So we will start with the cons. So obviously the cons are, you are behind the scenes, you are off stage, you are not talking to guests, you are not being seen by guests, you do not get to make magical moments for guests. Literally, you are in the kitchen, blood, sweat, and tears in your white chef's coat on the grind. And those are the cons. That's just the raw truth of the matter, is that your costume is not cute and you do not talk to guests and you don't get to make the magical moments. But on the other hand, the pros, you do get to experience what it's like to work behind the scenes for Disney. You get to help the front of house make magical moments. You get to make really, really close-knit connections with your coordinators and leaders because they're always in the back. There's some coordinators that are on the front floors, obviously, but a lot of them are always in the back, like wanting food or just like talking to us or making connections with us. So I made really good connections with coordinators and leaders that I still have to this day, that I think will help me whenever I want to start working for the company, like in corporate wise. I really liked my schedule, like my working schedule. Like front of house always seemed to stay a little bit longer because they had to do the dining room and all that kind of stuff. But in the kitchen, you can kind of sneak away and get your things done that you need to get done like before your shift is even over or close to over. So that way you can like get out on time and like quickly clean everything you have to clean and close and just get out of there. I also really enjoyed like the chillness of being in the kitchen. Like, yes, it was fast paced, and yes, there was like, it was very demanding, but I loved like I could get on my phone and they didn't care. Like, I could go into the bathroom and like chill out if I needed to. They didn't care. They're pretty forgiving about like breaks and stuff like that. Like, if you needed a break, if you were sweating and needed a break, they would be like, yeah, go take 10 minutes. Like, you're fine. Go get a drink, take 10 minutes, you're good. You know, go stand in the walk-in if you need to and cool off. Like, they were just very like chill and forgiving about it. I did also like that the cleaning process was like really simple and easy, and it was always the same. I feel like in front of house there, people, like my friends, were always complaining like, this guest broke this chair, now I've got to go find a new chair before we close tonight. You know, it just, we didn't really have many of those issues in the back. So I really enjoyed that aspect of it. And like I said, it was just a bunch of college kids just like making food and talking and goofing off, and it was just fun. Like, we could just bond and talk and goof off, and it was fun, and we didn't always have to like have on our good face for like guests and stuff like that. Overall, I wish I would have been front of house because I am a people person, but there was no way for them to know that when they were like assigning me my job. Like, they didn't know. They just knew that I had experience in a cafe where I made fresh food and fresh fruit daily. Like, you know, they had no idea. They just went off of what I said my experience was. So I couldn't be mad at them for sticking me in the back whenever I really wanted to be in the front. Okay guys, you can probably tell that it's sometime later because my camera died in the middle of filming. So we're just gonna have to work with what we got here lighting wise, but I'm just gonna go ahead and wrap this video up right here because I've already rambled on way longer than I wanted to. But if you have any other questions about quick service or about the program in general at all, please comment them down below, or you can DM me on Instagram. I will be more than happy to help answer any of your questions. But if not, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure you like it and subscribe to my channel because I have so much more Disney content coming for y'all once I move to start my Disney college program. And I literally can't wait. I know I've said that a million times, but I can't wait. So again, thank you guys so much for watching my video, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye everyone.